Four, we've had 4 great days of practice. Obviously had a good one on Saturday, about 2.5 hours long probably. One of our longer ones just seemed to go. But first day of we had 2 shorts, or spiders, I guess, and then 2 pads days, Saturday pads, today pads. But I like where we are after 4. Kids are working hard, playing tough. I had too many penalties Saturday, then came out today and cleaned all that up. So, 4 days in, and then we go Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week. So, questions?
Last year was the first time in a long time you've had a quarterback competition to go through in the spring and summer. Were the lessons you learned from going through that last year that kind of impact how you approach it this year?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if we learned any lessons going through. There's competition at every position. I don't know if there's something that we should have learned. Let me know. Maybe I'll learn it now. But competition's competition. We got competition at every position. It's no different than the quarterback position that we have now. That room is loaded. We got some really good players in that room. Besides a Kenny Pickett type guy, that room is as deep as it's been. As far as just, you walk out there and look at him, you're like, wow, that looks like a group of guys there. So, I don't know what we learned, but.
What's a room where you have really good competition? Are you really happy with the depth of competition?
Depth and competition, those are two different things. I think the defensive ends, you look at, Haba, who's here today, he's leaving, and Deslin, and that position's wide open. You're going to talk to Nakai Johnson today, who's really had 4 really good days. I'm assuming today was good. He's had 4 really good days. It's nice to see him step up. I think he had good bowl practices as well going to that UCLA game. So it's just, he is, started off spring ball where he left off. But I'd say that the end room, Dejan's playing real well, but when you got Nakai and Sam and Brema, all those guys, there's a battle going on there right now. Nate Temple, there's a battle going on there. Dorian Johnson moved over from D tackle to guard, so he's getting a ton of reps with the 2s today, and didn't get as many Saturday, but just develop. It's every spot. And I feel good with our depth everywhere. As far as we're not shy anywhere as far as just not having enough guys to practice, which is good. We're just gonna stay healthy through spring.
How's Elliott look so far?
It looks good. Elliott's playing a little defensive end, a little D tackle. Again, just growing. I think some guys, they just want to automatically come in and be the guy, and it takes time. But he's developing, he's getting better, and Elliott's doing a nice job too.
Pat, this might be the second off season where you didn't lose any coaches, any position coaches.
I know, huh?
How important is that to the overall program?
I know it's important for my sanity. I can tell you that. Like having to go through that, do that, that's a job. It just adds to your job as a head coach. It's not easy as it is dealing with all the other things you have to do to go through. But when you don't have to hire a coach and you have that continuity, I think it's huge. I'm not coaching a coach. I'll say, for example, just watching the receivers in the second year and watching, the guys play hard and play with effort out there. There were some things I threw in the team meeting today just with the receiver play, how hard they're playing now compared to last year. Last year, Coach Woods figured it out, and receivers are figuring out what they're supposed to do. And now it's like, a well-oiled machine, I guess, after 2 years, and 3 years will be even better. So, continuity is always real important.
Gonzalo was a guy this time last year that you guys were excited to see him get more starting time. Mm-hmm. Now he's a guy with all that starting experience. What have you seen from him and his growth so far?
You see good stuff. I think we got after him as far as loafing the first 2 days. Just maybe he thinks he's the guy and got enough reps that I'm the guy, and he's really stepped it up the last 2 days. He came out with an attitude on Saturday, he had too many loafs. I think we had him for 5 loafs. Should have 0 loafs. You're supposed to be the leader. He's a football player. We know for sure, and he's better right now than he was certainly at the end of the season last year.
Seems to be a pretty healthy mix of old guys coming in from last year versus new guys coming in new to the program this year. How have you noticed some of those older faces ushering in the new faces to get them going with this program in the spring?
I think we got a lot of good leaders on the team, and so the older guys are always going to take those young guys, whether it's mid-year guys, whether it's Donovan McMillan and Derek Davis and whoever they are, freshmen, Izzy Polk, but just bringing those guys, in and teaching them. So, the young guys have learned from the old guys, and that's kind of how we do things.
With the way the transfer portal works out, you talked about a couple of the transfers there. Is there more of a readiness within them, just stepping into spring ball, knowing they've done that whole thing before?
They're not rookies, so it's definitely they're ready. They're ready for a fresher start, and I'm sure they've learned from where they were and how they're going to start a new life here at Pitt. But we've been happy with those guys so far.
It was